Stevens. He's the medical director of the Belfast Trust. He's the top man there. I wrote him a letter explaining the way these two doctors have abused me. He says he wrote me a letter stating that he would make another appointment for me to see an asbestos specialist in Antrim Area Hospital, a Dr. Wendy Anderson. Now, first of all, I phoned the ambulance section to ask would there be any chance of me getting an ambulance down to Antrim, because it was snowing that day and I thought it was a bit dangerous. But they reported back to me and said, no, there's no chance. So I had to make my way, get a taxi there and a taxi back. It cost me £20 both ways, down, £20 down, £20 back. I went down to see this woman. Once again, when I walked into her office, it was a carbon copy of the Belfast City Hospital. On the desk was a pile of papers, my name on top, Joe Kidney's name, and Mother Hospital's name. It was a carbon copy of Dr. Richard Shepherd. So I walked into this woman, a woman, about 33, 34 years of age. She introduced herself to me, Wendy Anderson, chest consultant. And then right away I approached her. I said, look, are you an asbestos specialist? Because you only have to send me you're a chest consultant there. There's day and night difference in you two people. She said, no, I'm only a chest consultant. I said, well, Tony Stevens led me to believe I was coming down to see an asbestos specialist. And that I was to get an examination here, plus an MRI scan. And that you were to read that scan and let me know what was wrong with me. She said, well, Mr. Rafferty, for starters, I don't read scans. So I sat down. She asked me, she read all my forms first, asked me where I worked. I told her where I worked, what I'd done. I told her I was a boxer, what happened. Right, stand up, and she got her stethoscope. I pulled my shirt up and she sounded my chest for all of 10 seconds. That's okay. Examination over. I said, look, where's the examination? I was thinking, you're not getting an examination. I'll be able to tell you exactly from the exact same words as Richard Shepherd used. You think she was reading from his script. I'll be able to tell you from your reports.
So you were promised by Dr. Tony Stevens that you would get another independent examination, a scan, and you received nothing more than a 10-second sounding of your chest? Because
of the trouble I had with Richard Shepherd, Tony Stevens said to me, this woman will be able to tell you exactly what you have and what you don't have. And there you are, a 10-second sounding of my chest. And I had a trouble at Antrim Area Hospital for that.
And this woman wasn't an asbestos specialist?
She told me she was a chest consultant. And by the way, chest consultants is the exact same as Dr. Joe Kidney and Dr. Richard Shepherd. They're all chest consultants posing as asbestos specialists. I sat there and she talked away. She looked at the files, never spoke to me at all. She said she wanted me to go down to have a test done, and a breathing test just done next door. So I went in next door. One of the nurses, just 2 or 3 minutes, a wee breathing test, I came back in. She was still looking at those files. I was getting a bit peeved with her. I said, look, this is an identical thing that happened to me in the city hospital. This is getting me nowhere. Am I going to find out today what's wrong with me or what? And she says, I'll have to read all these files first.
So did Wendy Anderson ask you any questions regarding your illness?
She asked me no questions at all about my illness. All she wanted to know was, did I work with asbestos? And I told her I worked with asbestos for 27 years. And by the way, we never got even as much as a paper mask. I explained that to her.
So you worked with asbestos for 27 years. You had no PPE whatsoever. And these doctors are adamant that you do not have an asbestos-related condition.
That's the way it seems to me. It seems to me that they're building a wall. Since Dr. Joe Kidney, Shepherd, Michael Hollywood, and so on, the whole way down there, it seemed to me they're putting a wall up against me for some unknown reason. Like the people in the shipyard were diagnosed no problems, and there are thousands. So I can't find out what is the difference between us dockers and the shipyard workers. After all, we used the same asbestos as they did.
The shipyard received around £192 million to give out for compensation to those who were affected by asbestos. How much money did the docks receive to give out for compensation?
The docks received nothing because the shipyard was run by the British government. They were their employers, therefore they were liable for any asbestos cases. Whereas our docks had no scheme at all for us dockers. We got absolutely nothing from them, no help at all. And Dr. Anderson, she kept on that. I got to the stage that I said, Doctor, I'm only wasting my time here and now, I'm on my way. So I left. I walked out, disgusted. After all that way for a 10-second sounding of my chest. 2 weeks later, Dr. Tony Stevens wrote me a letter from the Belfast Trust saying, Arthur, you should be over the moon. This woman has found that you don't have any asbestosis, you don't have bronchiectasis, you don't have TB, you don't have pleural plaques, but what might be wrong with you, she says, you may have small lungs and a brain abnormality, because I was a professional boxer. This all comes out of a 10-second sounding on my chest. I found it to be complete gross negligence on a doctor's behalf. How she could say there's 4 serious illnesses there she's bypassed. And what she finds from the sounding of my chest, I have small lungs.
How do you think Wendy Anderson was able to diagnose you with having a brain abnormality?
A brain abnormality and small lungs. That is all from a 10-second sounding of my chest. That woman found nothing. That woman was told what to say by Dr. Tony Stevens. He's running the whole show there. Now I've had 4 or 5 meetings with Tony Stevens, and me and him has fell out time and time and time again. And her report is damnable. And I told him, when I told Dr. Tony Stevens, next time I spoke to him on the phone, I'm going to write to the GMC about his doctors, that they're corrupt and that there's collusion there, so that my case for compensation will fall through.
What did Tony Stevens have to say to you?
Well, Tony Stevens, I had a private meeting with Tony Stevens and Dr. Joe Kidney, but this time I brought a man out of the Disability Action, Dr. Colin Harper, with me, so that he would be able to hear these people talking to me. Dr. Tony Stevens, I fought that much with him that they had agreed to send me to see a specialist in England, Dr. Chris Warburton. Now, I had to go over to see Dr. Chris. We had a flyover. By the way, they paid my fare over. I went over to see Dr. Chris Warburton. I spent about 2 hours with him. Right away he diagnosed me with asbestosis. And his word was, I can't understand how these doctors in Northern Ireland cannot diagnose you. You have all the symptoms, plus 27 years working with raw asbestos. It speaks for itself, he says.
Was Chris Warburton a chest consultant, or was he an asbestos specialist?
Chris Warburton, in my books, is a number 1 man in England. He's an asbestos specialist. He worked with all the doctors in Liverpool for the Liverpool dockers. And he was the man that diagnosed them. So therefore, I have full confidence in him to be able to tell me. Now, I came back from Dr. Chris Warburton. I waited about 2 weeks. I got his reports. His report stated quite clearly that I have asbestosis, and along with asbestosis, I also have bronchiectasis. That is another serious lung disease.
Now, what telltale signs did you have that are related with asbestosis? What signs did you have that the doctors here could not pick up, yet they point the finger at an asbestos-related disease.
The doctor in England told me, Dr. Chris Warburton, he sounded my back. There's a loud crackling noise low down in your back. That's the first sign. The second sign is if you work with asbestos for anything over 2 years. And I've worked with it 27 years. So therefore, 2 out of 3. He said he had no problem diagnosing me with asbestosis. And the tops of my fingers are all disfigured. That's another sign. And he was able to tell me, when I was leaving Dr. Chris, I told him, I said, Doctor, will you do me a favour? He said, you may name it. I said, will you send Dr. Joe Kidney a report of what you're telling me? And will you send Dr. Tony Stevens a report of what you're telling me? He said, not a problem. So that was, I was back home in Belfast here, 15 months. And Dr. Joe Kidney and Dr. Tony Stevens hadn't the decency to phone me and say, Arthur, we got the reports, we understand now that they do have asbestosis, and we're sorry that we made the mistake. They never admitted to me at all, not once, that they had made a mistake in my diagnosis.
So Tony Stevens, who was very quick to write to you after Dr. Wendy Anderson's report, took how many months?
15 months, and he wouldn't have reported to me, only I wrote him a letter asking him, did he get the report from Dr. Chris Warburton? And I'd done the same with Joe Kidney, yet them people hadn't the decency. They hadn't the decency to explain to me that they made a mistake. It's the simplest thing in the world to say to a person, I'm sorry, we made a mistake.
So how did that meeting then go with Dr. Tony Stevens?
I fell out with him that day. Joe Kidney and I was there that day. They came into the meeting, they wanted to shake hands with me. I completely snubbed them. And when you do that to people like him, they think they are something. And he agreed with me. He said, Arthur, you and me will never agree. And I said, that's right, because you and your doctors are liars. And I have a witness to that. Dr. Colin Harper was with me when I said that. He was surprised I said it, but they were taken aback. But since that day, that's from 2001, I never spoke to Joe Kidney again. And it's now 2011.
So what exactly did you discuss at that meeting with Dr. Tony Stevens?
I discussed with him that his doctors have colluded with each other, and I took the blame off the doctors and put the blame on him. And I wanted to know why. What was his problem? After all, he's not paying me out compensation. It's insurance companies are paying it out. The hospital's not paying it out. All he's there to do is to do his job. And he's not doing his job right. And what worries me, that's why I said it to ASNI, how many other innocent sick person have these people done that to? And they haven't had the courage to stand up and fight these people.
So whenever you put that question to him, what did Tony Stevens have to say to you?
He said what he always says. He passed the buck on to somebody else. But he can't do that because his doctors, after all, they're supposed to be consultants. Yet not one of them. One of them did diagnose me, Dr. Joe Kidney, but where the rest of them got their diagnosis from is beyond me. Yet that's the people, seeing sick people day and daily in the hospitals across Northern Ireland.
Do you believe that there is any asbestos specialists in Northern Ireland?
Dr. Chris Warburton told me there's only 4 in the whole of the British and England. There's 1 in London, there's 2 in Birmingham, and there's 1 in Liverpool. And I said to him, well, Doctor, how is these people in Belfast getting away with classing themselves as asbestos specialists? He says, Arthur, they're only chest consultants. And there's day and night difference in chest consultants and asbestos specialists. So these fellas here are just acting as chest asbestos specialists and getting away with it by their boss there, Dr. Tony Stevens.
So you believe that these so-called asbestos specialists, who are nothing more than imposters, are misdiagnosing people, which in effect is affecting their asbestos claims?
Well, sure, my case proves it. I was sent to 2 so-called asbestos specialists, and by the way, they had to be paid, and their money's around about the £400 to £500 each. They were supposed to give me full examination, they gave me absolutely nothing. and they're getting money of the government left, right and centre.